Bilbao Airport is a public airport located 9 kilometers north of Bilbao, in the municipality of Loiu, in Biscay. It is the most important airport in the Basque Country in northern Spain, with 4,045,613 passengers in 2011. It is famous for its new main terminal opened in 2000, designed by Santiago Calatrava. History. After various aeronautic experiments in the province of Biscay, in October 1927 steps were taken by the Union of Public Works to establish an airport in Bilbao. A provincial board was created to study the possible location of the airport. It was not until 1936 that the General Aeronautics Management authorized the installation of an airport in Santiago. However, due to the site's many deficiencies, the airport was not considered of interest. Bilbao is surrounded by mountains and a flat valley without significant population had to be found. The construction works commenced during the Civil War, but during this time and until June 1937 the airport was only used as a base for military activities. In 1938, the second stage of the airport's development began. The council resumed procedures with the government to modify the primitive project of 1936, and the drafting of a new project was authorized and later approved by the General Management of Infrastructure. In 1940, it was decided by common agreement with the local organizations affected to build a civilian airport in Santiago. The construction works progressed slowly, and on the 19th of September 1948, the airport was at last opened to daytime traffic with the establishment of an air path to Madrid by Aviación y Comercio (SAR). 2 years later, the terminal, named Carlos Hire after the well-known pilot from Bilbao, began to give service. At this time, the airport had an asphalt runway, the 11/29, another earth runway, a taxiway, a passenger terminal, a tower control, a radio beacon, a direction finder, as well as police, post office, weather, health, fuel and telephone services. In 1955, a taxiway was built to link the runway with the parking stands and terminal, an apron measuring 124 by 60 meters, a hangar for the Royal Flying Club of Biscay, and permanent facilities for camps were also built. Between 1964 and 1965, an instrumental ILS landing system and a meteorological radio for storm detection were installed. The runway was extended to 2,000 meters and the apron to 12,000 square meters. In 1975, the runway was surfaced and its orientation became 10/28 due to the change in magnetic declination. In 1977, the parking stand was extended, a link road was built and an ILS system was installed. The runway 12/30, measuring 2,600 meters long, was opened the same year, and the airport was classified as first category the following year. As a result of the population density of the area, approaching planes may have to fly over the extensive aero cemetery. During the 80s, the ILS landing system entered into service for runway 10/28. The communication center, passenger terminal and parking facilities were enlarged, and a fire service building and cargo terminal were constructed. On the 19th of February 1985, an Iberia flight from Madrid crashed into Mount Oiz. All passengers and crew died. In 1996, a new taxiway with 2 rapid exits and a new aircraft parking apron were built. The works required the removal of tons of soil poisoned with lindane residues. In May 1999, the new tower control was put into service, which allowed for a more centered vision of the airfield and at the same time facilitated airport operations. On the 19th of November 2000, a new terminal area was opened in the North Zone, consisting of a new terminal building, with a surface area of 32,000 square meters, a car park with 3,000 parking spaces measuring 95,000 square meters and a north apron for aircraft parking to serve the new terminal area. In February 2009, plans were announced to expand the terminal building, the facilities and the car parking so as to double the current capacity to 8 million passengers. The work was expected to be finished in 2014 and cost €114 million, but in 2010 the Spanish government announced the project would be delayed by at least 5 years due to spending cuts and a decline in passenger numbers. Design of the passenger terminal. The terminal has a sleek design, with two symmetrical wings, and a sharp tip at its center which is especially visible when approaching the terminal from the sides. This original design has granted the building the nickname of La Paloma. White concrete and glass have been used. The interiors are open and luminous spaces, distributed in 2 floors, the upper one for departures and the lower for arrivals. There has been some criticism of Santiago Calatrava's design by ANS, the Spanish Airport Authority, because it seems difficult to make further enlargements in the terminal's capacity because the design is too closed. In spite of this, modifications took place in 2005-2006 in the check-in area to provide enhanced shopping facilities for travelers, which almost doubled the retail space now being offered. Users of the airport widely complained about its lack of an arrivals area, since once passengers cleared customs, they stepped directly outside, and that they were often exposed to the elements. The airport built a glass-walled shelter to remedy this problem. Traffic. The airport has seen a constant increase in its traffic numbers. The old terminal was already saturated and obsolete in 1990, although it had been renewed only a few years earlier. At the present day, Bilbao is the most important hub in northern Spain, and the number of passengers using the new terminal continues to rise, especially after the increased tourist interest in the city since the opening of the Guggenheim Museum Bilbao. With the past increase of traffic, the terminal would have become saturated again in a year because it is designed to handle about 4.5 million passengers per year. In 2007 it went nearly to its maximum capacity. However, the global financial crisis of 2008 has reversed the situation as of early 2009, decreasing the number of passengers by 24% in January compared to previous year. In 2014 traffic is on the rise again and will see the recovery of the 4 million passenger mark. Airlines and destinations. Statistics. Top carriers, busiest routes, public transport. Biscay.It. A bus line connects Bilbao Centro and the city bus station with the airport. La Roldebis, a bus operated by PSA to Donostia San Sebastian. Its only stop is at Sararat, adjacent to one of the town's 2 Euskotren stations. A bus operated by PSA to Mondragon with stops in Eibar and Begara. The last daily service continues until ONRT. Incidents and accidents. On the 19th of February 1985, Iberia flight IB 610 from Madrid crashed into Mount Oiz. All 148 passengers and crew on board were killed.